Appreciate everybody being here today. Obviously coming off a big win against our rival. Very proud of our kids, very proud of our staff. They did a tremendous job in getting prepared for that football game. Did a great job on the field and being able to finish that thing and win that game. So hats off to them, and appreciate all the Eagle fans that showed up to the game and braved the weather. And, so that was really good. But it's now time to flip the switch and make sure that we start getting ready for the next one.
Coach, how do you assess the team's ability to finish?
Well, 3 of our last 4 games, we've won by 3 points, and that takes being able to finish. I've been asked a few times about the finish in this past game with App, and they did. They beat us in the 4th. They obviously scored 14 points, and it was 14-0, and that's not what we want. And we had opportunities. We had an opportunity on 4th and 3 for our offense to get that and take some more time off the clock, and our defense obviously could have kept them from scoring those 2 touchdowns to make it close. And then also, too, our offense could have picked up some more first downs. But one thing that I did notice, with 3 minutes and 47 seconds to go against Minnesota, we were up by 4. They went down, scored, and won the football game. In this one, with 3 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the game, App State had 2 opportunities to go win it and didn't. And our guys really stepped up. So, hats off to them for finishing it and getting it done.
Coach, after the game, you talked about the defensive effort, and obviously a great effort to hold an offense like Appalachian to what you did. There were also a bunch of injuries that you were dealing with. I know some of them got back into the game, but overall, how did you come out of that game? How are you looking moving forward?
Nothing serious in the game. I mean, it was a very physical game. It was a dogfight like we expected it to be, and our guys played really hard. And obviously, you're going to come out nicked and bruised and all that. But, I think we're in good shape going into this next one. The biggest one is Kendall Vildor right now. He's day-to-day with his ankle. But other than that, we should be good everywhere else.
Coach, I know there's sometimes a fear of letting a team beat you twice. There's also a fear of a letdown after a huge win like you guys had last week. How do you prevent that?
Well, luckily we've been in this situation before. This time last year, we beat a 25th ranked App team, and we have the exact same 2 opponents that we have this time. It's just flipped this time. We're going to go to Troy this week, and our guys have learned from that, and that's what I hope to see this Saturday is, we've got to put the other one behind us. There is a lot of positive noise now. There's still negative. There's still some negative noise, and our guys have done a really good job of drowning that out. But we got to drown the positive out too, and we got to understand it's about what we do each and every day. We challenged them yesterday to say, hey, one day at a time. Let's go have the best Sunday we can have. Let's go have the best Tuesday we can have. Let's go have the best Wednesday we can have. And Troy's a good football team. Right now their record's 3-5, but we could easily be 3-5. And so we gotta understand that they're a good football team, and we can't overlook this.
Coach, I believe last time y'all went to Troy, it was your first game as interim head coach. I don't know if this is something you like to do, but do you take a look back at what the journey's been like since that first game at Troy and see how things have changed so quickly for you beyond just the interim tag being removed?
I look back a lot. I don't live in the past at all, but I try to learn from it. And there's different things that we can draw from. There's a lot of guys on this football team that was a part of that. And there's things that we can draw from on it. But we're a different football team. We're a different football team than we were in 17. We're a different football team than we were in 18. But past experiences can help us. And, and we got to be mindful of that. And I think all of us have got to understand that as long as we're learning from the past and not living from the past, we can be better for it.
First year head coach at Troy, what have you been able to see through halfway through the season from the Trojans?
They're very impressive on offense. They're a little bit different than they were last year. They're throwing the ball more than they run the ball. but they're pretty efficient at it and are putting up big yards, putting up big numbers, doing it. The quarterback is very efficient. Quarterback is very accurate. Their offensive line does a good job of protecting him, and they got 3 really good receivers that can make plays after they catch the ball. Defensively, I know they've been banged up a little bit, been injured, but you can see the athleticism. You can see that they have it within them to do some things. So again, we got to make sure we do what we do and make sure we're prepared to play as hard as we can play.
Coach, who on offense and defense for us in the app game really showed you their talent, and you're kind of looking for more of an impact from them from Troy and at ULM and going forward?
Well, one thing that I'll say offensively and defensively from the app game is, we really got to talk about the O-line and D-line. They came to play, and they dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides, and that was the key factor in that football game. Obviously, everybody sees the big long run by Wesley Kennedy, the big long run by Shai Wertz, and those types of things. But man, that game started in the trenches, and I really got to give credit to the offensive line and the defensive line, and that's where we've got to win football games. And going into this next one, it's got to be the same thing.
Coach, can you continue to talk about the continued success of Tyler in the kicking game? Made a kick that actually turned out to be a difference in the score in anything but ideal conditions on Thursday.
That was a very impressive kick because that wind was really blowing, and for him to nail that thing and drill it, and that was why we went ahead and attempted it the next time. And if you watch the film on the second one that he missed, he's got the right aiming point. The ball's going exactly where he aimed it, right down the middle. The wind caught it at the top, but he's a guy that is a weapon, and he's proven it time and time again. He's had some bad luck because of weather issues last few games, but he's a guy that we don't hesitate a bit to put him out there and do it.
Wesley Kennedy named Offensive Player of the Week. How much does he impact the offense? How much do you need him to have a good game for the whole team to have a good game?
Wesley brings the energy. He brings the juice because, I wish y'all, if you could come watch him every day, he loves football. That guy's out there. He's one of the hardest workers on the field. He leads by example because of his work ethic, and he is a competitor. And, there's no moment too big for him. He feels like he can go make the play. And where he's gotten better from last year to this year is he doesn't get too amped up, too juiced up. He can energy over emotion, we like to say with him. But he is a difference maker for us, and he's a guy that we got to continue to keep getting the ball to.
And going off that, I think he's the first player since Matt Breida to have 3 games in a row with 2 or more rushing touchdowns. Maybe catching the rest of the Sun Belt a little bit by surprise this year, but y'all don't seem surprised at all behind the scenes.
No, I knew when we were recruiting Wesley what he was. We brought him in as a slot receiver because of certain situations. He became a running back for us, which turned out to be a really good thing for us. He's very natural at it. He can be a receiver. He can be a running back. He's just an all-around athlete. And, but that was something that we saw out of high school. If you go back and look at his high school production and what he did for his high school, it is no surprise to me what he's doing for Georgia Southern.
After the game on Thursday, in the post-game interview, you talk to the media, you talk about blocking out the noise, kind of similar situation to last year. Just one of those games that you're talking about when you're saying going good to great. Doesn't necessarily mean the record, but being able to take that next step and finish the season strong.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I want to win. I want to win every time we go play. And we're going to work and plan to win. That's what we're going to do. But when I talk about good to great, I talk about how we're building our program. Instant success, okay, 10-3. That was instant success. And so, there's a lot expected after that happens. And I'm fine with that. That's what makes Georgia Southern so great, because there's such high expectations. But I want to do it the right way here. I want to build the program, and I want to make sure our core values, I want to make sure that our plan to win, I want to make sure that everybody on our football team is bought into what we're doing. And to go from good to great, you got to be able to handle different situations. If you start the season out 1-3, how do you build off that? How do you continue so that you become successful off of that and not just nosedive? Or you get in a situation right now that we're in where we got in the driver's seat. Do we start we don't need to start talking about a conference championship. We don't need to start talking about games that are down the road. We got to understand this is one day at a time for us. And so those are the different, and there's been so many lessons over last year and this year that our guys are getting to learn from. And we get to bring those back up and we get to talk about those things and we get to go, do you remember how you handled this situation? It worked this time, but now this situation, it didn't work. How can we continue to get better off of that? And to me, that's what good to great is. Thank y'all. GATA.